Hey everyone, today we are talking about the Forney Industries 45P Pro Plasma Cutter. If you've ever tried cutting metal with a cheap jigsaw or angle grinder, you know how messy and slow it can be. The edges end up rough, the sparks fly everywhere, and you're left cleaning up slag for what feels like forever. But this thing, it's a whole different experience. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I remember my first time trying to cut metal with a jigsaw. I was working on a small project, trying to cut out a simple shape from a piece of sheet metal. It took me forever, and the end result was far from perfect. The edges were jagged, and the whole process was just a real hassle. But then I got my hands on a plasma cutter, and it completely changed the game. Suddenly, cutting metal was fast, easy, and precise. And the Forney Industries 45P Pro is one of the best plasma cutters I've ever used. First off, this cutter handles both 120V and 240V power, which is great if you're working in a garage with standard outlets or upgrading to a dedicated 240V line. I've used it on everything from thin sheet metal to thicker stock, and it slices through like butter. The cut rating is solid for mild steel up to 12 gauge. And the sever cut goes even deeper, if you need to clean up edges later. It's not one of those flimsy units that bogs down when you push it, it keeps going. I've used it to cut through some pretty thick metal, and it never struggled or slowed down. Another thing I love is how tough it is. Forney built this with a durable metal case and a torch that's designed to take a beating. I've dropped it, knocked it around, and even left it out in the shop overnight. No issues. The torch itself has a comfortable grip, and the trigger is responsive. You don't have to fight with it to get a clean cut, which makes a huge difference when you're in the middle of a project and just want to get the job done. I've had it for a while now, and it still looks and performs like new. I also appreciate that it's CSA certified, which means it meets safety standards for North American use. That's not something you always see with budget imports, and it gives me peace of mind when I'm working on something that involves sparks and high heat. Plus, the built-in air filter helps keep debris out of the internal components, so it lasts longer without needing constant maintenance. I've noticed that it runs a lot cleaner than some of the other plasma cutters I've used, which is a big plus. One practical use case I've found is using it to cut out parts for custom brackets or repair work. Instead of measuring, marking, and drilling holes, I can just sketch the shape, clamp it down, and cut it in minutes. The precision is really good for a machine at this price point, no jagged edges to grind down later. I've also used it to cut up scrap metal for projects, and it handles that just fine without wasting material. It's really opened up a lot of possibilities for me in terms of what I can build and create. I've also been impressed with how versatile it is. I've used it to cut through all sorts of different metals, from thin aluminum to thick steel. And it's not just limited to cutting out shapes and designs, I've also used it to make precise cuts for welding and fabrication. It's really become an essential tool in my workshop, and I don't know what I'd do without it. Now, it's not perfect. The biggest downside is the weight. At around 25 pounds, it's not something you're going to carry around all day. If you're doing a lot of field work or need something ultra-portable, this might not be the best fit. Also, while it's great for mild steel, if you're cutting stainless or aluminum regularly, you might want to look into a more specialized machine. But for the average DIY or small shop owner, it's more than capable. I think it's also worth noting that plasma cutters can be a bit intimidating if you've never used one before. But the Forney Industries 45P Pro is really easy to get the hang of. The instructions are clear, and it comes with a comprehensive manual that covers everything from safety precautions to troubleshooting. All in all, if you're tired of fighting with cheap tools that just don't cut it, literally, this Forney plasma cutter is a solid investment. It's reliable, built to last, and makes metal work a whole lot easier. I've been using it for a while now, and I can honestly say it's one of the best tools I've ever purchased. It saved me time, frustration, and money, and I think it could do the same for you. If you're curious about the specs or want to see current pricing, check the link below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.